Hello everyone, you're welcome to this series of webinars where I'm going to be talking to you about sibling grief, maybe grief in general, but sibling grief in particular. This first one is entitled Sisters by Chance, Friends by Choice, which also relates to brothers, of course, not just sisters. And I'm hopefully going to take you through a bunch of information to help you understand the dynamics of grief, and then some strategies to hopefully help you through this really difficult time. And I suppose grief is a painful but unfortunately very common experience, and most people in their lifetime will experience the loss of a close friend or a family member. The loss of a sibling represents the loss of a lifelong friend and an advocate who shared and understood your history, your childhood, like nobody ever could. No, not even the best friend in the world, not your partner, not even your parent. Your sibling has a very, very unique relationship to you. And in addition to the strong emotional ties, actually, you both share a 50% genetic makeup, which is a very unique relationship amongst all others. And in childhood, when you think siblings share their homes, their meals, their playtimes, their secrets, they learn new things together, they fight with each other, they half kill each other a lot of the time, and then they make up and they're best friends again. And they can help each other through the good times and through the bad times. And when a sibling dies, the surviving sibling or siblings lose not only a confidant or a companion or a friend, but they also lose connection to memories and to events, very unique memories and events that they feel like they're kind of disconnected from those. And because the sibling bond runs so deeply, the loss of a brother or a sister is I suppose, one of the most difficult types of losses to bear. Siblings, brothers and sisters, play a crucial role in our identity development. So their death can have a profound effect on how we feel about ourselves and who we are and who we're going to become following this death. You share similar histories, and many people feel that when a sibling dies that they actually lose part of themselves as well. It'd be very profound, and no matter how prepared you think that you are for the death, you can never really be prepared for the loss and the grief. And there's a difference between being prepared for the death and being prepared for the loss and the grief. And I suppose one of the really important messages of this webinar series is that there is no normal when it comes to grief. There is not a linear track that you should follow, and now at this stage, 3 months on you should be here, and 2 years on you should be here. Everyone has a very, very unique journey which should be respected and validated, and everyone grieves differently, so there are really marked differences in how intensely and how long each person grieves. Maybe there are 3 or 4 surviving siblings following the death of a brother or sister, and some of them might grieve openly and deeply for years and find it very, very difficult to get back to any kind of normal functioning level. Others, and maybe most people, will suffer very intensely for a short period of time, maybe a few weeks or a few months or the first year or two, and then that seems to ease and they can reconnect with their lives. And yet others appear to get over their losses very, very quickly, almost immediately. They're back to work within a week, and we can judge people, the one who has taken an awful long time to get over it, going, oh, she should be over it by now, and we can judge that person harshly. Or the person who seems to have gone over it very, very quickly and is back to fully functioning in the world, we can judge them and say, gosh, does he care at all? And actually, the very deep private experience can be very different. I know people can maybe go back to work within days and they are absolutely devastated, and they can function in the world. So it's important for each one to respect where you're at and where the others in your family are at. And I guess also outside the family, you know, the bereaved brother or sister often doesn't feel very well supported because the depth of the bond between siblings is often underappreciated by other people, especially if you're an adult and you've all moved on in your lives. You think, well, you know, that was a difficult thing, but it's not that tragic, and actually the profound impact of sibling loss gets overlooked sometimes. And also, when we're talking about the wider world, death and grief make people feel very uncomfortable. So people are often awkward, you know, be prepared for the awkward encounters, and people say stupid things and they say hurtful things without realising they're trying to help. And they'll say, you know, I think one of the most unhelpful things that people say, and so many people say it, is time's a great healer. Actually, time has very little to do with it. And when you're at the wake and someone says that to you, that's not very reassuring and comforting. And people will try to make sense of the death for you, and they'll try to make sense of the grief for you. And really that's not very useful in most cases. So there is a difficult and painful path that the surviving siblings travel after a loss. I guess what I would say to conclude this first section is that the path that a surviving sibling travels is a painful one and a difficult one that is often not well understood. In fact, there's very, very little research around sibling survival after a brother and sister passes away. So hopefully you'll tune into the next few, and maybe things will become clearer for you and more helpful for you.